Hello.
So wonderful to see you here, Robert and Kirk.
Thank you.
Maybe Kirk, I can start with you. Tell us a little bit about meeting John Davidson, becoming aware of his story, and what compelled you to tell his life story in a movie?
I first became aware of John in 1989. There was a documentary on TV called John's Not Mad, and the reason that it was entitled that was that John was 14 years old and he was coming to terms with the onset of Tourette syndrome, very, very similar to what you saw tonight at the beginning of the movie. I was just really touched. I was emotionally engaged. I was fascinated by the condition. And there were another couple of documentaries over the years. And I think one of the things that drew me to the story, to John's story, was that I've always been fascinated in films by trying to mix humour and emotion at the same time. And I have questioned why I enjoy doing that. And someone once said, well, maybe that's because that's what life is like. You know, life is not just one big comedy or one dark tragedy. It's kind of a mix of everything. So I've always been interested in combining those two elements. And I think in John's story, I saw the most kind of potent mix of humour and emotion. So I contacted him. I went up to Gala Shields, and that was the start of the journey for me.
And before I bring Robert in, I think we have a special guest in the audience.
Is it Connie?
Like to say...
Connie, okay, so we just wanted to say this evening we have a very special guest. Dottie's real sister is here, and is Connie. And she's in the front row. And she's got a badge which says, I'm the real Dottie's sister. So I just wanted to welcome you, so a special welcome. Thank you for coming.
Welcome.
Niece. Oh, and the niece as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you. Thank you. Robert, congratulations, an absolutely brilliant performance. I want to ask you, I guess, both how familiar were you with Tourette's, how much did you know about this condition, and what compelled you to play John, to tell his story?
I didn't know very much when I started. I'd say I just had sort of like a two-dimensional view of Tourette's, really. I didn't understand very much about it. And then I just sort of received the script and thought it was an interesting script, and then I watched Kirk's first film, Waking Ned Devine, which I absolutely love. Yeah, so I was just excited to Zoom with him and to chat about it. And then I got really excited because I felt like it was the combination of him and the script was really interesting. Mm-hmm. And very quickly then I met John. We went up to Edinburgh and then down to Gala Shields and met with John. And I don't know, I feel like once you've met John, it's hard not to want to, you know, be involved in the project, because he's just such an amazing man. And he's got such, you know, energy about him, and you know, so I was really excited to be a part of it after I met John.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And the movie about the humor that's in the story next to the drama. I love the humor in this movie. I love that we're allowed to laugh in certain moments, but the humor is never at the expense of John or condition. It's really parsed and navigated very sensitively, both on the page and in your performance. So I was wondering if both of you could say a little bit about navigating humor. What was the most important thing to get right there?
I think when I first met John, I think almost one of the first things I said was, you know, if I say that I can identify a level of humour within the condition, would that upset you, annoy you, frustrate you? He said no. He said, my life has been the most tragic and the most comical all at the same time. He said, that's what Tourette's is. It's all wrapped up in one. And he literally said, if we didn't have those lighter moments where we could laugh at the things that come out of us, which we have no idea, you know, John doesn't know what he's going to say basically until it leaves his lips, and sometimes it entertains even him when he listens to himself. So I knew that humour was acceptable. One of the things he did say very early on was that the Tourette's community historically feel as if they had not really been given very much respect, and they had often been invited to go on TV shows or radio or talk to the press, or even been presented in dramas or you know, made jokes about with comedians and things on TV, and they were always treated as a joke. They were always treated as a bit of a gimmick that people would laugh at. So I said very early on, I said, that isn't what I have in mind. I promise you, I want to deliver a realistic, believable, condition and story, so that you will. I want to make a film that you will be proud of, and that the Tourette's community will be proud of. So he was very relieved to hear that, but I was aware that I wanted to go a step further. I wanted to really kind of gain his confidence, and I said, I'm going to make you an executive producer, and that means that you will have a voice and you will have an opinion, and I will show you the script every 20 pages. You tell me if I've got anything wrong, if anything upsets you. And that's what we did, not just with the script, but even with locations and then casting. And Rob and I went to see him, and I effectively was saying to John, this is who is going to be playing you, and John was really happy. Dottie was very happy that Maxine Peake was playing her. And then I showed John the final cut, I showed him the final film. And he was absolutely thrilled. And I think if any of us on the crew, cast, production, crew, could have been asked what their goal was really from this project, it would be, number one, to make John proud and to do justice to his story. Number two, to make the Tourette's community proud. And then beyond that, anything else was really a bonus.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'll just say that, like, I also feel like it's in terms of humour, it's I think a good example of this is like the tick's not the funny thing, it's it's the way people respond to the tick, you know what I mean? So like, I mean, in terms of on the humorous side, it's like that's what I think Peter Mullen does really well. It's like in that interview, it's not the tick that's funny, it's what it's the effect that it's having on Peter, you know what I mean? I think that and it goes for, bad circumstances as well as good circumstances. It's the people around you, the person who's ticking, that define sort of what it is, I think.